want on there. That right there, piece of tendon, I don't. So that one's just about ready. Trim them up just a little bit. Alright. So this is the same one. This one actually makes a great chicken, popcorn chicken right there. It's all fat, a little bit of gristle. This is all meat. Popcorn chicken is. So that's what I wanted to show. That's that whole piece right there that usually pops right out. Gristle and everything. You just try to take all that white out. The whole vein. Leave that fat on the trimmer up a little bit. Right there. Flatten him a little bit. And we're gonna take the cut right in the deepest part. I want the cut right in the deepest part. Perfect. Right in the deepest part. Could have went a little deeper on that one. We'll go a little deeper on this one. A little further down. Okay. That's the two chickens there, Mr. Frazier. I'm going to season them up real quick. Little Mike Lawrence.
We're always prepared. Make sure the network is working all the time. We relentlessly plan today.
Very lightly on that. We're going to end up seasoning everything. So we're going to bring all the flavors together in my crazy mixed up. Chop that off with that. Alright? So we're going to let them continue to thaw out because they're not all 100% thawed. They're about 85%. So we'll allow them to sit and rest and marinate and take all that salt and flavor. And it wouldn't be right if I don't put any garlic powder on it. My wife would never forgive me. So we'll get a nice coat of that. Maybe that actually for flavor. I'm sorry, she thinks that the more you put on it, the more you're gonna taste it. And it doesn't really work like that. Alright, so that's my chicken board. I'll clean that up. Frazier, a bechamel. It's one of the 5 mother sauces that you can make, along with a velouté or velouté, as we put these together as the video had shown. Since I'm only doing 2, I'll just do a couple. I'll just do half of this. I'll make a grilled cheese sandwich, ham and cheese sandwich for one of us later with the other half. So I'll just do that. Did I put what I put on the bottom? Okay, so we'll double up there since it's an extra one. Then I'll just take this Not that knife. I'll take this knife, cut it in half. This is what I'll save. And then I'll cut 2 nice thick pieces. Nice thick pieces, just as the video had said or has shown. They're going like this. I'm going to actually do this because I want them deep. I want a little more. So we'll do those. We'll put those 2 in there on sideways mode. On sideways mode. Alright. This right here has to go to the chef. And there's only one of them in here right now. So I guess that means meat. So we'll put this in the bag. I'll make a grilled cheese or 2 grilled cheese, ham and cheese sandwiches a little later on for the queen. Alright. So, I'll set this aside. Let me get something to set that aside. I'll probably put that in the refrigerator. Let me put that in the refrigerator. Oh, what I got here? Open that door. What do we have here? I'll put that in the refrigerator on this. That's my 2 sides. I'm gonna put in the refrigerator so they can stay cold. I actually don't want to put my chicken in the refrigerator because I actually wanted to thaw with the seasonings on it so they can get introduced to one another and later on get married as soon as we add some heat to it. So, alright, need a pan for my sauce, which I'll use it's only a small sauce, so I'll use that saucepan. Actually, that's almost an omelet pan, so I'm afraid that if I use this pan, it might be a little bit too much. So, no, I'll use this saucepan. Small saucepan. Small saucepan. Small saucepan. Okay? And let this say that this was for the chef's out. Bam. Y'all did not see that. But I did. Okay. So, I have me some flour. I have me some cold milk. I'm going to take some margarine. And I think I'm going to use my fat's going to be margarine for flavor. And then I'm going to use a little bit of vegetable oil to hold it up. Alright? I really don't need that much. I only need about a tablespoon or 2 of roux, because you actually make a roux with the flour, a very quick white roux. Easy for me to say. I must need some more of this. Alright. Very quick white roux. Then you add your milk. Slowly add your milk off the heat, because if it cooks and breaks, then you'll have a ruined bechamel. So you're actually supposed to let the roux slowly cool before you add the milk, and you just stir the milk in, put it on low simmer until it thickens to sauce consistency. All right. So this is my pan. What I'm going to do, because I'm going to add some minced onions and garlic in my bechamel, because we season everything around here. And I couldn't see me not putting fresh garlic in a roux. So I have some previous chopped onions or sliced onions, which I'll chop now. And my garlic has been roasted. I had a whole big bottle of garlic, like a 3-pound thing of garlic I have roasted previously, and I made some paste and I made some chop, and so that's already ready. So I'll just take some of this onion. I really want my onion small, because I really want my onion small so I can I'm gonna adjust my camera. excuse me. I really want my onion small so it doesn't interfere with the actual sauce. The sauce is actually not supposed to have anything in it. It's supposed to just be a seasoned, creamy white sauce. So, however, as we just said, we season everything around here. I'll mince some onions. Some onions up real quick. And then I'll saute those before in the oil and everything with the garlic before I add the flour to make the roux, which will actually give it the taste of the onions and garlic, the actual bechamel. So we do want to cook these down though. We don't want them whole, we don't want them crunchy, we want them soft. So we want them small as possible, minced if possible. And I'll show you my garlic in a second, which is actually parade. So that's my onions. And I'll take a guap of this out. Garlic is roasted garlic. I'll take a nice, probably about a half a tablespoon. And I'll put those on there, right? So I'll have that. I'll take my pan, heat my pan up, of course. Everything works with a hot pan better. Hold there a second to heat up. And then I might as well get rid of this off my cutting board. Somebody might come in and think I'm eating, but I am. And this is what happens when you eat. When you're a chef, you eat. That's what happens. I never understand out of the 30 years, 35 years I worked in restaurants, how you can not ask somebody who's cooking your food to taste it before they actually give it to you. And I worked in some restaurants where you weren't allowed to taste your food as you cooked it, which is very disturbing to me because if I'm serving you something, I want to know how it tastes before I serve it to you. So I'm just not going to cook it and give it to you blindly. Well, this was years ago. Those were the days. So I take about a tablespoon and a half of this Olay or vegetable oil. I'll let that reduce down. I'm gonna add my onions first. Because I want them to cook longer. If I add my garlic first, it'll kind of like, because this is basically done already, it'll kind of like to start to burn and brown. You never want to burn or brown too hard your garlic. Once it starts to turn into color black, you probably will want to get rid of your dish, because I would suggest that because the burntness brings bitter flavor. Same thing if you're using dry garlic. If you use a lot of dry garlic, it doesn't actually open up and actually give your garlic flavor. What it does is it tightens up almost like flour, and it gets a bit more bitter. The oil is you cannot get the oil out of it. So I'll add my little piece of garlic now that they start to cook down some. Grab me a spatula. We'll get that nice and brown. Love the smell of onions and garlic. Now normally I would use a fresh herb in this, and since this is dinner for my wife and I, and she's, let's say she's not a big fan of a rosemary sprig or a thyme leaf or a thyme sprig being in her food. So I'm going to avoid the fresh herb. So I'll add a little oil. I don't need that much roux, so I don't need that much oil, because roux is about 1 tablespoon of flour to 1 teaspoon of oil, and you have your basic roux recipe. Not basic, probably now it's changed. I'm old head, so I do it like Mom do. Doing too is powdery in there. So this is actually not going to be as white as it should be traditionally, because the brownness of the garlic and the onions are going to turn it a little bit of like a pale white. or a pale brown, I guess. I don't know, like a beige. But traditionally, a roux, bechamel is totally white, blanco. So, let me get that out of there. So you really don't want to cook it too much, because as you cook it, the flour turns brown, and you don't want it brown. However, that's traditionally, so mine's, I really don't want too much. I just want the flour to open up. And when you start smelling the nuts or nutty flavor, that's when you know the flour is opened up. And I would say to myself, I really need to turn that off and grab my whisk. So I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to grab my whisk. I'm going to grab my cold milk, but I'm going to let that simmer for a second. I'm going to let that sit. I want some heat to come off of that. So I'll continue to stir that so we can get some heat off of it, because the one thing you don't want is your milk, as soon as you touch it, to curdle or to start to cook, because then you'll have lumps, and you're not supposed to have lumps. I'm going to have lumps anyway because I have onions and garlic pieces in here. So, however, traditionally, you don't want any lumps. It's supposed to be a smooth sauce. And at sometimes when I was working fine dining, 5-star dining, you had to strain all your sauces. So it really came out, which I have my strainer if I need to. If it comes out too lumpy, I have what I need to strain it. So, but we're going to try to make it to our style a little bit, not too much to tradition. All right, so I think I'm cool enough right now. So what I'll do now is I'll add the milk, and then it'll thicken up. I really don't want to add too much milk until I see my roux starting to thicken up, and then I add a little more, and that's how I know it's cooling down, because I really just want it to cool down. I really don't want to add too much milk, because since I have the flour not already all cooked out of it, it's going to take longer to thicken up if I add too much milk. So I don't want a lot of milk, but I still want it to be enough to be able to cook some of the flour out on a simmer to bring all the flavors together. I think I just covered it, Jones. So that's what we have right there. And I don't know if this light helps or not, but it's kind of like a light tan. It's supposed to be bone white. I know all you veterans, shout out to the veterans for all the work you've done. I'm sure you had shit on the shingle before. And it's actually, that sauce is called a bechamel sauce, which is just a white sauce, a white milk sauce with the dry beef in it, and they slop it on a shingle. Or a piece of toast, as otherwise known as a piece of toast. So that did go off a little bit, so I'll lower this a little bit. I want this really low, and now that I got all the flour incorporated, so I really know the consistency of the sauce is right now. This is actually the consistency that you want, or nappe, as they say, is the French terminology. You're supposed to coat your spoon. I'm gonna add a little more milk, because like I said, I want it to simmer a little, and but if I don't put the milk in, it'll come too thick, and then it'll be more starchy. So I want the starch to actually cook out a little bit. So I add about 2 more ounces, maybe 3 ounces of flour, and I'll leave that on the lowest possible temperature so it can reduce down. As it's reducing, the flour come out, the flavors will come together, and it won't just be like shit on a shingle for real. Because from what I understand, it has no flavor. It's just white stuff on a piece of toast. All right, so that's done. Let me clean up a little bit. I'll put this back over here. Done with my milk. By the way, these Hawaiian rolls, my wife loves them. So they're here to represent. Shout out to Hawaiian rolls. I really don't like sweet rolls. I probably can eat about 1 of them. She can eat a whole pack. She balls them up like, oh, I shouldn't tell y'all that. She balls them up and eats them like that. They're gummy. They taste too damn big gummy. I don't like them. All right, so I have my regular panko, traditional panko. A panko is basically breadcrumbs without the crust, and they really are not. They're not baked. They're really lightly baked. It's kind of like they put them in the oven and they just dry out. So that's basically what panko is. They basically dry out bread, crunch it up. Dry out bread in the oven and crunch it up. But that's it. That's basically what panko is. But you have to take the bread the ends off. No ends. No crust. Regular traditional breadcrumbs have crust. All right. What else? Where am I? That's it. The chicken's done. The oven's done. I think we're ready for a commercial break. I have my sauce steeping or reducing down very slowly. I think it's time for a break. I'll clean it up. I'll come back to you guys. And I'm going to set my oven right now. Although I'm not going to cook. Actually, I'm going to do it. I'm going to set my oven right now. And given the fact that I don't really have a good oven, keeping it on it. I'm a borderline renter from a slumlord. Borderline, not really, but borderline. So I haven't had an oven in a while, but all that'll be done in God's time. So I'm gonna set my oven right now because the important part is that you don't want to cook the chicken internally too hot because the fact that it doesn't have any oil in it because it's a breast, and then we're covering it with something else that's dry as in the panko is not going to have a change to breathe. So we wanted the oven to be hot so when we put it in it, it'll start to cook from the inside out almost immediately, and you don't have to keep it in as long as one would think, and like 45 minutes. That should be the top. And then with the oven, continue checking your temperature and your internal temperature. But we'll get to that when we come back from commercial break. So I guess it's on now. So black is on. So I'll try to set it up. As I said, this is my camera person, the Queen's gift to me to stand. So I'm actually utilizing it in her absence. So I think we're good now. I think I got everything in focus. We're going to stay with this. I have the bechamel is cooked down. It's nice and thick. Normally what you want to do, because it will thicken as it holds. It's a very good sauce to hold. You put a couple of tablespoons of water to get its sauce consistency back. And in this case, we really don't need that because it's going to go inside of the chicken. I may thin it out and put it on top just for garnish, but we'll see about that later on. I couldn't hold myself from having some fresh herbs here. I did have some dill in my refrigerator and some thyme, which I'm going to mince and just put into my panko. I still have my panko here. I just put it in a bowl, and I'm going to season it up. And then I decided, because I'm a chef and I can do that, I decided that I'm going to do something with these King's Hawaiian rolls with the leftover meat, and hopefully I'll have enough time to do that before the Queen gets in the house, which is should be shortly. So what I'll do is I'll try to get that on the end of the tape as we do the chicken devon, or the chicken divan, or the chicken devon, or that chicken Davani, or however you want to say it, but we hooking it up right now. So I'll put some fresh herbs in there because I couldn't stand myself with making a dish without fresh herbs. I use a lot of fresh vegetables, fresh herbs. So I'm not going to garnish her plate with a fresh herb, but I do have some fresh kale that I can probably make a nice flour out of, and that's to come at plating. So I just put some sea salt. I use a lot of this crazy mixed up salt, Jane's crazy mixed up salt. She's from the Jetsons. Jane from the Jetsons made a salt. So So it's pretty cool. It's basically more sea salt, but it's non-iodized and it has herbs and every infused in it. So it's kind of like pretty cool. It's not really salty, but it's flavorful. And of course, everything gets Mike's Lowry. So we'll put those back up there just to get it out the way. Now the sea salt, I tell everybody about the sea salt. It has less iodine than the regular like table salt. However, you can go overboard with it if you don't allow the if it's easy to go overboard with it because the granulars are so big. Even though that's supposed to be a grinder, it doesn't really grind it that much. So I tell everybody to be careful when you use sea salt. All right, so I have my eggs. That's for my eggs. I'm actually going to make a small. I'm just going to batter these really lightly. Breadcrumb, egg white, flour. That's just to hold, get the crumbs to hold on it. A really light egg bath. So I guess I can just crack these now, and these we can. I don't want it really thick, so I'm going to add a little water to it, so it can stick, but not. I don't want it to coat it to the point where it's going to take flavor from it. I am going to season this because we season everything here, but I'm going to add maybe 2 tablespoons of water. And then that'll be a little bit thinner. I might even add another one. Because I really don't want it like a thick egg batter. I want it kind of like, there we go. I think that's cool. You know what I'll do? I'll even stretch it out with a little splash of milk. That'll give it exactly what I need. Give it some more protein to tighten up and get nice and crispy. Okay, and like I said, I'll put we season everything here. Some crazy, Jane has a crazy pepper too. She has a crazy pepper and a crazy salt. The pepper is really kind of like bitey. It's not hot, but it's kind of, it'll get you there if you heavy on it. I like it. All right. This is my bechamel, that's done. I'm gonna put out my chicken next. Well, let me mix this up. I'll mix this up. I think I need some more seasoning in there. I think I need some more Lars. Because that has no flavor at all, that bread. You don't want to eat. I don't know if you guys have done it, but I have. And the breading is the worst part, but the chicken is good on the inside. We want it to actually taste good together. I'm going to add a little bit of Parm cheese in here just to give it a nice flavor. I'm going to use fresh Parm. I'm going to use some fresh, what do I have, mozzarella here. Mozzarella blend. We don't want to use mozzarella. I do have some Parm if I can find it. We need some Parm in there to get it that golden touch, that brownness. Oh, there it is right there. Okay. So Parmesan Reggiano I'll put in here. Also for flavor, color. So I would say quarter cup to, that's about 2.5 cups of breadcrumbs. Alright, get that all nice mixed up in there together. And that's going to be our bread panko topping. We got our egg mix. I'll pull up the bread, the flour. We'll do a quick dip of flour. This is going to take really quick because as you can see I don't have a lot of space. So we'll have a receiving plate right here. Actually, yeah, we'll have a receiving plate right here. I'll pull out my chicken. I'll put my chicken in the refrigerator. Because I turned my oven on, which changed the temperature of my kitchen. So therefore, it's going to thaw out quicker, and then you have a bigger chance of bacteria to build. So I just put it in the refrigerator. Now they are fully 100% thawed out. and they look lovely, as I can show you there. They look lovely. We'll what I'm going to do is I'm going to flour them first before I put the cheese in. So I'll just flour them really quickly, just like a really flour. You don't have to get a lot of flour on them because the egg, we really just want a little bit. So it's kind of like a dredge, not like a flouring. So we'll leave that right there. Bam, one. We'll bring another one in. Bam. Two. We'll move this out of the way. Because like I said, we don't have much kitchen space. So not yet. Wait. This will change. This too shall pass. Alright, so those are done. Alright. So what I'll do now is I'll take my bechamel sauce. Well, let me get what I need. You know what I need. Let me get the ham and cheese. We got our ham and cheese pieces that we kept in the refrigerator, and we're gonna get those inside of our chicken. So we'll drop those in right in there, right? Put that right in there. Put them caddy corner side. We want them to fill up. If I could have kept it straight, that would have been nice, Michael. All right, but that's cool right there, right? And then we'll go with this other one. Slide that right in there like that, like a soap. I like a soap. And then we got a little more room right there, so we'll push him down in there. Got that. We push it right down there. Okay. Okay, put that there. Get us a can we get a spawn? Get us a spawn. Get us a spawn right here. We'll take this. We'll go right down in there like that. Okay. Maybe a teaspoon and a half. Whatever is going to sink through. So we want to. We're going to put it right there like that. So what I'm going to do here now is going to do some really quick thing. I'm going to do exactly as you can see me doing. Get it a little bath. Give it a little bath. Make sure I get those edges. And not necessarily in the middle. Once we do this, that's going to cover that. Alright, so I should have put that in something bigger. That's kind of like, yeah, I mean, a 36 double D's in a size 32 B's. That shit just don't work. So I'll put some right here so we can make it work right there. But that's what I want right here. If you see this, that's a perfect cover. That's what we want right there. So right now, I'm going to marry these two. I'm going to do him like this. Get them together. Come on, get in there. Do the same thing I just did. Right in the egg bath. Get some egg on everything. I see I didn't get a side over there, which I'm going to have to get if I want this to encrust. Because this is basically an encrusted chicken breast. And then something coming out of here that ain't supposed to be coming out of there. So we gotta drop that in there. Okay. So, roll bread down on the side. Yeah, I should have used something bigger. It would have been much easier. I would have had an easier time. But right there, we'll cover those with our breadcrumbs. We can't use the breadcrumbs again because I put the cheese in them, and wherever I put them at, they're going to mold. The cheese is just going to mold. So I want to encrust this totally. I'm going to put all of these right on top of there, because what's going to happen, and I'll pull this over so everybody can see, they're going to basically soak in, just like any bread would do. It's going to get soggy. So I want as much bread right there, almost encased in them. And then that way I could do the sides, as I should be doing over here, because the sides, I neglected to use a deeper or large enough container. So we'll be alright though. We'll be fine. We'll be fine, Mr. Joe. Mr. Joe Frazier. We'll be fine, BGB. Shout out to BGB. Guess we're gonna have a football, virtual football draft coming up. Here we go. I'm gonna pat those down because it's gonna soak in. That's one of the reasons why I put the bechamel on top, so it can kind of stick. Also, I want a total encasing. That's what I want. Okay. And then we want it to actual stick to the egg. So we'll leave that there for a second or two. I'll clean up some. I'll check my oven temp if I can, because as I said, you heard my problems. Soon that will be fixed, but I don't have a very good oven to be telling you guys temperatures. What temperature to do what at. But you normally, in a restaurant setting, I would cook these probably in a convection oven for probably about 25 to 30 minutes at 325 or 350. Only because they're totally chicken breasts, and it's all chicken breasts. There's really no fat in there. So once you want to heat those up, you don't want to have to heat them up to the point where, you don't want to have all the juice that's in there to leave once you heat them up, because now that they're encrusted, the juice and everything will stay inside. However, if you try to heat it up, that's the first thing that's going to run out of there is the juice. So, we want them encrusted. We want to keep them here. I'm going to say in your house, I would say about 350 to 375. Because you don't want the bread to get soggy either, because then it'll start to fall off, the crust. The panko. The panko will start falling off if it's too soggy, if your oven is not high enough. So you want to cook them at a high heat. I told everybody to turn the oven up to the highest and then back the oven down, because you can always turn the oven down, but if it's not hot enough, it's too late once you start to get it. Once those breadcrumbs start to get moist and all of that. So you want to cook them at a high heat, kind of like the caramelize or crisping up the breadcrumbs first. So that's why we turn this oven up. I still have some sauce, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do with the sauce, because I just had an idea pop in my head as far as my garnish and my plating, what my plating should be. And I'll show you guys that as we go along. So I'm going to need my sauce. I'm going to strain my bechamel, and we got a nice surprise for you guys for that with that one. Right now I'm just going to clean up a little bit. I'm going to place these over here. So I don't want to put those in the refrigerator as much as anybody would think I would, because I want them to get soggy in the heat. So I'll clean up a little bit. Like I said, it was in a small area. And other than that, I'm going to have some asparagus with it, some sauteed asparagus, and I think I have a couple of potatoes. I'm going to make like a thick cut potato with it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. So it's fine. I start somewhere. We have rice. We're rice people and potato people. So me and my wife are. Every once in a while, pasta or two. But this present moment, we know what our starches are. We can count them on 2 fingers, maybe even 3. It's not which way we have it, it's how we having it. Alright guys, here we go. You guys, I'll edit this all out. You don't need to see me clean up, but I didn't want to turn off. And I guess I could have. You don't need to see this. We'll edit this out. Alright, as I said, bonus footage. I'm actually going to make a traditional egg dip sandwich, or I guess it's it's called a Monte Cristo. I've made them in my times. I see them run across them a little bit. I'm gonna make it with the King's Hawaiian roll. Of course, the panko won't be anything in it. And to my knowledge, a Monte Cristo is a basically a ham and Swiss sandwich on challah bread with sauerkraut. So I'm going to attempt to make, well, not attempt to make these. I'm going to make these on King's Hawaiian bread, hoping that the sweetness of the bread will accent or subtract the tanginess or the tartness of the sourness of the vinegar in the sauerkraut. So we're going to start those. As you can see, I just have the same cordon bleu ingredients that I had before. I have an egg for my egg dip. Now I'm trying to check my memory, and I do believe it's almost like a French toast batter that you dip these in. So I'm going to make that. Generally, it's French toast batter, and then we're going to fry up some King's Hawaiian Monte Cristos, I guess they would be called. All right, so we'll start with that. All right. So I made these at a restaurant, well, years ago, so many years ago, when I was just on my apprenticeship at a fine dining restaurant, and I guess that would be Ardmore, Bryn Mawr area. So I'm gonna cut these in 4, so I can, in the shapes of course, of the small bread. I'm only gonna do a few because my wife is finicky and loves to do all these Hawaiian breads, and she doesn't like one of them. They actually gonna go to waste. So what I want to do with the Hawaiian bread, I like to tell people this, is that using a serrated knife on all bread is probably the best thing you can have. And then having an eagle serrated knife is probably one of the best things you can have also. So what we'll do is we'll use this as basically just as a saw, and that's basically what a serrated knife is. That's why it never goes dull, and it will cut the fuck out you. So I'm just going to saw these apart and let the knife do the work. If you start putting pressure on it, then the knife is going to go crooked, and then you'll have an uneven cut. And that's exactly what just happened here, because I have an uneven cut. And I'll show you why that's important later when we make the sandwich and cut these in half. When you have a piece of small piece of bottom that's thin and the top that's high, and when you go to put a toothpick in it, it won't actually work. And then you'll be like, why the toothpick ain't working? Like, why? So I'm gonna make a really quick mayo sauce with some red pepper and to go on this. Red pepper, roasted red pepper chili there, and then I'm gonna use a basic mayonnaise, almost like a remoulade. I'll put some capers in it in a second. So it's not gonna be that much. So I'll just maybe use 2 tablespoons of that. Check the Eagles knife. Shout out to the Eagles. Till I die, baby. Till I die. See that? See that? Till I die. Alright, so then we'll put a little bit of this roasted pepper in there. I'll put a small in it. That's not really hot, but it's spicy. I really don't know what I'm doing. I do a lot of stuff improv. So we'll taste that. And we'll see how that tastes as we go. I'm gonna put some relish, some capers. Put a couple of capers. I'll put a splash of relish. What I want to do is I'm trying to offset the little bit of heat but same flavor. A little bit of relish. And that'll give me my sweet to stay with the French toast. The French toast batter. I'm not going to put sugar in that, but normally you would. Or syrup. Alright, there I am. There. I think I need a little more red pepper. No, you don't need that much, man. There. Oh, it looks good. Looks good. Relish. Chop a couple of capers. And then I'm going to do something else that's probably not typical. I'm going to put some sliced cucumber on them. Because I just be thinking of stuff. I like to build Frankenstein sandwiches. Check my website. My tape is not up yet, but I have several monster sandwiches when I was actually working full time for other companies. I am working full time now, but it's for me. I had a Saturday where every Saturday I would put a monster sandwich up, and I have videos of those. I once made a 5-pound BLT wrap, which won off very good. 5 pounds of actual bacon, using 5 pounds of bacon, not cooked bacon. No, not 5 pounds before cooking. 5 pounds of bacon after cooking. So therefore, you had truly 5 pounds of bacon. All right, so we'll take a fork here. We're gonna see what we got here. Mix that up. Nice little remoulade, that would be called. Red pepper remoulade. Give me a little stick to taste on that. That's not bad. So we're going to go with it. I need some salt in it. But we're going to go with that because I know I can go all out and be here all day trying to make it perfect. But it's great right now. I am going to put a splash of I was going to put a splash of vinegar in it, but I'm going to put a splash of sauerkraut juice for my tangy instead of using vinegar. Since we're going to put sauerkraut on the sandwich. Alright, there we go, y'all. Let's try this one more time. Alright, so what I'm going to do is improv this. I'm going to take me a cucumber. Okay. Okay, that's what we're going to do. And we're going to put some very thin slices on here. I'm sitting here contemplating. No, I'm not. I should take the seeds out, but I won't. Yes, I will, because now that I'm thinking about it, it's going to have a lot of water from the cabbage. So I want to take these seeds out. So I'll just take these seeds out real quick.
He's just been caught in a huge lie.
Okay. Okay. Put that upside down. Okay, that's going to have to stay there for now. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is slice these very thin. And then I'm going to place them all over here. Okay? We're going to put them right there. Okay? Then we're going to have it with a little bit of sauce. Then we're going to lay these out.
With the news tightening, Chix denies killing Kimberly, but the cops aren't buying it.
Prince Chix was charged with the murder of Kimberly Robinson and the special circumstance that that murder occurred during the course of a rape.
Preparing for trial.
So when we take all these apart, basically, I wanted to put the cheese on the bottom. I guess I neglected to do that, but now I'm switching it up. So the cheese can melt. We want the actual cheese to melt. So we'll do cheese, ham, cheese, ham. We put the cucumbers on the bottom. And then I'm gonna squeeze some of this out so it won't get so messy. Like I said, this is a Monte Cristo, if my memory serves me right.
A predator stalking his prey. I think that.
So we're gonna put a Monte Cristo on a Hawaiian roll with cucumbers and a red pepper ole. I guess that would be officially called that. So we'll put some ole over here. Right? Okay.
Where he accidentally dropped the clue that would be his
okay. So then I'm gonna put cheese on top of this also.
Between the overwhelming video evidence and the DNA.
Because if my memory serves me right, it gets 2 layers of cheese. I'm gonna put because I want to put a layer of ham, then a layer of sauce.
Friends and family, Chix's conviction is a huge sigh of relief, but it's tinged with guilt.
I shouldn't have ate that, but it was good. Yeah. So, okay. Okay. I think that's good. I like that. Some more sauce. Bam. I remember them being very messy as cooking them. I remember that they sold a lot. I also remember I shouldn't be eating cheese, but I'm eating it anyway. Alright, so now I'll make my egg batter. I don't need but 1 egg. There's only 1. A little bit of milk. I'm gonna use agave. Normally, if I'm making syrup, French toast, I would use syrup. I do have my cinnamon. My wife doesn't like cinnamon, so I use as little as possible. Okay, I think that's my French toast batter right there. Okay. All right. All right, here we go, y'all. We still going? All right, guess we still going. We're gonna find out. Okay, that's that. That's that. I think my baby's in here.
The victim was an elderly female.
Alright. She got a couple more minutes. So I'll get my pan for this. Oh, that's that not a pan. Michael!
She had some contusions on her wrist.
Alright, got that pan. Then I need a pan for my chicken because my chicken is just about ready to go in the oven. Alright, my pan for my chicken. I got asparagus. What did I say? How many potatoes I got? Let me check. I got enough potatoes, so I might have asparagus and pan-seared potatoes or pan-sauteed potatoes. Okay?
This Jane Doe is the first homicide victim the tiny town of Clarkson has seen for 14 years.
Alright. Don't clean that up. You can edit that out, I hope. My trash is overflowing. I told you we got a little establishment here. Seriously, we need a bigger kitchen. I don't understand that, but who are you calling seriously? Alright. Got that. Let's go. Alright, let's finish this up and then I'll go to finish the cordon bleu. Alright, so as you can see here, that's my sandwich. This is my egg mixture that I'm actually basically going to sit in there and make French toast out of the bread as the cheese melts. Sounds great. As I said, we made thousands of these sandwiches. When I say it, we used to do a Sunday brunch, and that's all they used to order. It's very messy, and it gets on my nerves. A Monte Cristo. The Count of Monte Cristo.
She's dead. She's been murdered. To hear the words that your sister is murdered it's doubly shocking. Death is one thing, but murder is a whole level.
I think everything just stopped cold in that
Alright, I'm back.
because my mind just started to
Uh,
wild.
guess I'm done with my adult beverage.
Dinah was like a sister I never had. We were just talking about
Yes, I would be officially done. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook this in, I think before we used a clarified butter, which will always make them burn really quickly as soon as you put them in, and you would have to finish them in the oven, else you would have to make another one, which was, they were basically 3 times higher than this. I'm just using this for the roll's sake, and for the sake of we're not in the restaurant setting. So I think my pan is really hot now. The main thing you want to do is actually melt the cheese. So once the cheese melts, you know everything inside of it is hot. So we've done them open faced and then put them together, especially if you got 12, 13 and you need 10 of them right now. We've done them in that fashion. As I said, it was Sunday brunch. So it was always busy. So I'll pour a little bit of olive oil. I mean, not olive oil. I'll use vegetable oil. It has a higher burn rate than olive oil or any other oil. I think peanut oil has the highest. You might can find a couple higher or comparable. I'm going to need to put this. Let's do this way. Watch this. Let's do this way. So that's basically what you want. You're basically making French toast with the bread. I'm going to turn this down because it's going to be hot enough. So the big thing was to try to get all the egg on everything because it kind of like makes and sets. So you kind of like this what I'm doing. That's as I'm doing it, the memories are coming back. And then you would do the top first because you wanted the color. You wanted to look extra. So then we would have to literally flip this side to side quickly. So I guess I'm going to use my spatula and I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to turn it again. Then I'm going to turn it again. As it's burning my fingers, I got to keep it together. All my juices coming out. I'm going to turn it right there. Ooh. And then finally I'm going to lay it down. And that's one of the things that you just see. Everything's falling out of it. That was a big thing, especially when the sandwich is 2 times bigger. And then that basically when it's done that, I would turn it off. Let me turn that one off. I think that cheese is melted enough. I'm going to throw it in the oven to finish it because we always did that also. And that's Monte Cristo.